For 20 years, Charli XCX has been making some of the best pop music of the 21st century, yet she is the opposite of an overnight success. While she has received plenty of acclaim throughout her music career and scored a number of hit songs, it took time for Charli to become the massive pop star she is today. That moment, when commercial success and critical acclaim finally aligned, came with 2024's Brat, a modern electropop masterpiece that both recreated the abrasive sound of the rave scene where Charli began her career and presented her at her most vulnerable, openly confronting the fears, anxieties, and uncertainties that come with fame. A year and a half after its release, Brat is still recognized as a powerful work, having earned a remix album, 3 Grammy Awards, and a worldwide tour. But after spending years striving to reach this level of success, how does an artist know when they are ready to try something new, to move away from the very thing that made them a major star? Directed by Aiden Zamiri, The Moment grapples with the question of when something should be let go, while also offering Charli XCX an opportunity to bid farewell to the Brat era. This what-if-style mockumentary perhaps suggests that Charli's next phase belongs on the big screen.
What is The Moment? The Moment takes us to September 2024, 3 months after the release of the album Brat, presenting an alternative history of what might have happened in its aftermath. While the narrative is entirely fictional, it gives the impression of being grounded in the kinds of choices Charli and her team could realistically face following the album's success. Atlantic Records doesn't want to lose the momentum as long as the Brat hype continues. As Charli prepares for a tour set to begin in just a few weeks, she finds herself with a perfect opportunity to capitalize on the summer's wave of excitement. On one hand, the label has signed off on a deal for a lime green Brat credit card that grants its holders concert tickets and is marketed exclusively to her queer fans. On the other hand, there's a far worse idea on the table. A concert film made in collaboration with Amazon Music, directed by the questionably credible concert director Johan. Johan believes that capturing the harsh visuals and nightclub atmosphere of the Brat tour will be difficult, a stance that creates tension between her and Charli's friend and the Brat tour's creative director, Celeste. As Brat's popularity continues to rise and the tour's creative direction is pulled in opposing directions, the pressure of this new level of fame begins to suffocate Charli. As she says in the film, she created Brat on her own terms when no one cared. But now, everyone wants a say in what comes next. Alongside the exhaustion and discomfort that come with losing control, she must decide whether to honor the artistic vision she built with Celeste or allow Atlantic to steer her toward extending the Brat era on their terms.
Charli XCX shows her potential as a film star in The Moment.
At this year's Sundance Film Festival, Charli XCX is not only starring in The Moment, but also appearing in supporting roles in Greg Araki's I Want Your Sex and Kathy Yan's The Gallerist. With The Moment, however, Charli is firmly at the center of attention, and she is genuinely impressive. Even though she is playing a version of herself, she captivates the audience, especially in the film's frantic and anxiety-ridden scenes. Moments like rushing to get an intense facial treatment or being caught between the conflicting demands of Johannes and Celeste. Charli conveys these situations with striking effectiveness. During the post-screening Q&A, Zamiri noted that Darren Aronofsky's Black Swan was a major influence on the film, which makes sense given that The Moment works best when it channels a similarly high-strung, obsessive energy centered around Charli. It will be interesting to see whether she takes on a major role in the future that isn't based on her own life, but The Moment clearly proves she has the talent. Skarsgård also delivers a standout performance, fully leaning into what is largely a highly entertaining role. He becomes the film's antagonist, and his righteous anger at people refusing to accept his ideas is both unsettling and darkly funny. Gates, who has been a major support system for Charli throughout her career, shines in her confrontations with Skarsgård's Johannes as she tries to protect the integrity of Charli's career. Gates' Celeste nearly becomes a co-lead, serving as the perfect partner in crime for Charli. Unfortunately, most of the remaining cast members are reduced to one-dimensional cliches or brief cameos that are oddly given outsized importance in driving the plot. Jamie Demetriou is solid as Charlie's assistant Tim, but he is still playing the familiar yes-man role common to films like this. Rachel Sennett appears as herself in a short scene, while it doesn't add much substance. Another cameo from Kylie Jenner appears abruptly and leads to major consequences for the rest of the film, though without a particularly clear justification.
Messy in meaning, but still fun, and a fitting farewell to Brat.
This highlights the moment's biggest problems. Everything feels entertaining, yet the film is often scattered and hesitant to fully commit to its ideas. Ultimately, it gives us a glimpse of just how wild this story could have been had it truly embraced going completely off the rails, and it's hard not to feel disappointed that it doesn't go further in that direction. This is not Charli XCX's This Is Spinal Tap. At times it plays like a clever rock mockumentary, but it rarely dives deep into absurdity or playful excess. As a result, the film drifts into uneasy stretches that don't quite go anywhere, with scenes, especially toward the end, that seem to lose their sense of purpose. Zamiri and writer Bertie Brandis appear aware that the film could have pushed itself to more extreme, more entertaining places, yet they don't fully commit to that impulse. A bolder embrace of absurdity and humor would have been a welcome move. Still, the moment ultimately offers Charli XCX a strong acting showcase, and its concept finds playful ways to expand on the story of her massively successful album. Brat is over. Long live Brat. The moment premiered at the 2026 Sundance Film Festival. It opens in theaters on January 30th.